All right, today we're going to do something a little different. We're zooming in on just one stock, GRASIM Industries. Why? Because its chart is telling an absolutely fascinating story right now. It's a classic standoff, a powerful upward force hitting a solid wall. And honestly, what happens next is anyone's guess. This is way more than just numbers on a screen. It's a high-stakes drama playing out right before our eyes. So let's get into it.
Just take a look at this. This isn't just a random squiggle. This chart is like a battlefield map, showing a fight between buyers and sellers that's been going on for months. And we're tuning in at the most critical moment, a real inflection point that could set the tone for this stock for a long, long time. So, before we can understand where we are, we've got to know how we got here. Let's rewind a bit and look at the first chapter of this story, the big, long-term picture. For the better part of the last year, there's no arguing it. The momentum for GRASIM has been up. It's been making what traders call higher highs and higher lows. Think of it like it's been climbing a staircase. Each step is a little higher than the one before it. This is the foundation, the bullish backdrop for everything else we're about to see.
See that smooth blue line kind of flowing underneath the price action? That's the 200-day moving average. The easiest way to think about it is as a long-term safety net. The fact that the price has stayed above it and even bounced off it tells us that the big picture trend is strong. It shows that the buyers are still firmly in control.
But, no stock goes up in a straight line forever. After that really nice climb, the story took a bit of a turn. The momentum paused, and the stock just, it got stuck. This is the part of the story that feels like the calm before the storm.
So instead of going up, the stock started going sideways, just chopping back and forth. We call this consolidation. And you can think of it like coiling a spring. All this sideways movement is just building up potential energy, getting it tighter and tighter, just waiting for a release, a big, powerful move. The only question is, which way?
Now, before we go any further, there's a key idea we have to get our heads around: resistance. Imagine a ceiling in a room. You can jump up and touch it, but it's really tough to break clean through it, right? In the market, resistance is exactly that. It's a price ceiling where a whole bunch of sellers are waiting to cash out, and that selling pressure stops the price from going higher.
And boom, here's a perfect example on our chart. See this highlighted box? This whole zone, right between 2850 and 2950, has been an absolute brick wall for GRSIM. Again and again, the price rallies up to this level and gets smacked right back down by sellers. This is the ceiling the stock has to break through.
Which brings us right up to today, the present moment. After months of being trapped in that box, the price is finally making a serious attempt to break free. It's literally knocking on the door of that ceiling.
Let's zoom right in here to the far right of the chart. You can see it clear as day. The price has pushed up and is right now just poking its head above that resistance box. It just hit a new high. This is it. This is the moment of truth on this entire chart. So the big question is this for real?
Okay, let's talk about one specific number, 2,980. I want you to burn that number into your brain for a second. Why is that specific price so incredibly important?
Because that's the trigger level. See, just poking your head above the ceiling for a minute doesn't count. But if the stock can actually close and stay above 2980, that's a huge confirmation signal. It's the market's way of saying, okay, the buyers have finally won this battle, and that could kick off the next big wave higher.
So this brings us to a literal fork in the road. From this exact spot, there are two very, very different ways this story could unfold. Let's break down both possible futures.
Okay, on the left, you've got the bullish path. This is the real deal breakout. The price holds above 2980, and this is the cool part, that old ceiling magically becomes a new floor of support. This could open up a path towards the 3200 level or even higher. But on the right, you have the bearish path. This is the dreaded fakeout. The price pops up, gets everyone excited, but then fails and snaps right back down. This creates what's called a bull trap, catching eager buyers on the wrong side of the trade, and the price probably drifts back down. Everything hinges on which of these two paths it takes.
Now, if that bullish path does play out, something really exciting happens. The stock enters what analysts call blue sky territory. Think about it. Because it's at a brand new, all-time high, there's no history of sellers above this price. There's no old baggage. The path of least resistance is, in theory, straight up.
So how do we get a clue about which path it's going to take? Well, we can't predict the future, obviously. But we can look for some key signals, some evidence that tells us what's really going on.
Here's your cheat sheet. First, confirmation. A quick peek above 2980 isn't enough. We need to see it close and stay there. Second, look at the volume.
A real breakout should feel like a party. It needs a big surge in trading volume, showing that lots of people are participating with conviction. Third is the retest. It's super common for a price to break out, then come back down to test that old ceiling to make sure it's now a solid floor. A bounce there is a golden signal. And finally, the failure signal. If the price gives it all up and drops back below 28.50, well, that's your sign the breakout was a fake and the bears are probably taking over.
So there you have it. You've got the long-term uptrend, the months of pent-up energy, and now this challenge at a critical ceiling. The battle lines are drawn, the stage is set. All we can do now is watch. Will the buyers finally smash through that ceiling, or will the sellers win again? The next chapter of this story is about to be written.